Welcome to Charting Cryptos and Commodities. It is the 28th of September. Why did I add commodities? Because I'm tired of telling you the same thing week after week after week as Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency market just sits here floundering. I wanted to add something and try to be helpful, so just take this as another free little bonus, and we will look at more than just cryptocurrencies. What do I mean when I say floundering? Well, you can see this is a 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. You can see on this weekly chart how Bitcoin has just moved down. It went up 4 weeks starting back in mid-July and then pretty much ending on August the 8th, the week beginning then. And then it started moving back down again around where it hit previously. I'm hoping this is going to be a base where it will stop. Things will settle down and then move back up again. I have no idea if that's going to be that, but there is nothing for us to do, at least as far as I feel, in these cryptocurrencies right now. Now, again, we're an education firm. We're not an investment broker. We're not brokering investment advice for you. You do what you want. I'm just telling you what I am seeing as far as our practice trades go here. Not anything for us at this point. We look at where things are with Ethereum. Of course, it, over the last 3 weeks, has moved through and cleared now the 200 EMA on the weekly chart, meaning, of course, it's in downtrend area, bear area. So again, hoping to see it level out somewhere. Maybe it'll come on down to the mark it was before, around the 1140 mark, 1120 mark, something like that, form a base and then start moving back up. But again, everything's sucking wind in the cryptocurrency area. Going to the familiar chart, you see everyday XBTF, 1820 mark is about where things have bottomed out. Like to see it make a base here and move up. Don't know what it's going to do. What about BITW? That is the top 10 cryptocurrency index fund. It is all 10 of the top cryptocurrencies weighted by market share, which of course that means Bitcoin takes the large chunk of that. But where do we see things there again over these last two? Well, it's just really been sliding sideways. Did give us a little pop-up back like we saw in those 4 or 5 weeks where things moved up with Bitcoin. We saw that happen in mid-July, pretty much ended mid-August, and then sort of down sideways and down. So no bottom yet, or at least no confirmed bottom. We want to see things, again, get to some kind of bottom and then start moving up strongly, pushing through the 200 EMA on Bitcoin. On the weekly chart, the 2-day and the half-day give us a good base and good growth and take off again. When will that happen? No idea, my friends. None at all. But we track it every day. We are watching and waiting for it. And when it does happen, I trust that we will see it. Excuse me. Now, let's move on to commodities. I've ranked the commodities by what is up the most for the day. What does that mean? Nothing in particular, but let's start with oil. Now you hear peak oil. When did that occur? That occurred back in June. Since then, it's been going down, went sideways for a little while in August, July and August, and then of course at late August, September, started moving down, excuse me, again strongly. Up some for the day, but overall we look on that weekly chart, still moving down. Now it is above the 200 EMA, not moving below that yet, and who knows if it ever will. It could. What do we see with wheat as we're moving toward winter? Well, wheat did reach its most recent bottom back in mid-August and starting to move up again. Remember, it's in bull territory because it's above the 200 EMA, and that is something to pay attention to. Keep your eye on wheat. Of course, when you look at what we've been looking at on wheat, you can see where things pushed off that 200 EMA on the 2-day chart, which again initiated a chart for us, not really much going on there. It really hasn't taken off, But again, just a practice trade we initiated with things bouncing off the 200 EMA on the 2-day chart. Now again, a lot of the stuff we've been doing in the commodity space have just been experiments. But again, I encourage you, it doesn't cost anything to practice trade. Look at these charts, see what there is to learn. Let's look at something like gasoline. Look at it, red ever since peak gas prices back in early June, just heading down. Pay attention when that turns around at some point, still above the 200 EMA. Silver, we just like to look at silver, balance it off against gold. What do we see? Negative territory. We've seen it pop up a couple of times, but then continue on moving down. Copper, which shows us so much of what's going on in industrial sector. Look at it. It peaked back in February, slid up as far as just the candles go, then down, up a little, then down. Again, not reaching its most recent low, which was back in July yet, but appears to be headed that way. Now, here's a good one. Natural gas. What is going on with nat gas? It reached its top, its high back in late August, the 22nd, and then has shaved off of that. Hasn't pushed through the 200 EMA. It's touching it. It tried to go through it and bounced off again, so we'll keep an eye on that as we move toward winter. Might be some opportunities. Here's the Rogers Total Energy Fund. As we've seen, looking at oil, looking at natural gas, looking at gasoline, it is what? Down, of course. What do we see with the Rogers International Commodity Index? Overall, down. We can see now it is above the 200 EMA, but movement is down. And we look at the Rogers Metals Fund, we can see where it has moved. And again, we've seen what's going on with copper, down. What's going on with gold, down. What's going on with silver, down. Nothing surprising there. How about coffee? I love coffee. Coffee hit a high. This looks like the most recent high back in February. And then, of course, trundled down for a while, popped up some, down, got close to that high back in August, and then sort of now trying to move up again. So keep an eye on coffee. Again, see if it's going to try to take off and move above that prior high. We look at the Rogers Agricultural Fund. What do we see overall going on with ag? Of course, we see how it hit its high, rolled over, pulled up a little bit and sideways, and is now moving down again. How about corn? So many feedstocks use corn. Of course, corn hit its most recent high back in April of this year, then slid sideways, dropped way off starting in late June through July, and then started building up. And only this week have we seen it gone red again. So we'll pay attention to what's going on there, see how that shapes up. Just a few more to move through. This is sugarcane. Look at sugarcane, way off. Don't know if it's going to cross over the 200 EMA going down, but cane is not going anywhere fast. And what about soybeans? Again, another feedstock. Soybeans used in a lot of things. We saw it reach its high back in April. Did it reach and tried to hit another high there in June. And then, of course, after that, just hammered down and has slowly been trying to gain up this week. Had a down week there in early September. Now another down week in late September. We'll see just what happens with soybeans. I love watching the commodities markets. Why? Because it shows me what's going on in these commodities, food, oil, metals, all those kinds of things that mean a lot to us. Helps you read through a lot of the worry and gloom stories in the news. You can see if things really are going crazy. And many times when you look at them, they may have gone crazy, but they're not now. And when you can read a chart, can look at it and see it and follow it, you're not surprised. You can see what's really going on, and you don't let the talking heads in the media treat you like the fools that they try to treat everyone else like. That's where we are, folks. Do appreciate hearing from you. You have questions, problems, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me, cw@chartingwealth.com. Remember, what we teach here, we want you to practice on everything you're interested in, whether they're commodities, whether it's metals, it's food, whether it's stocks, it's bonds, it's indexes, whatever it is, please work, use the things we teach here, learn by doing. Doesn't cost you anything to practice trade. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.